IVM.
Hi, I'm Utsav, a behavior researcher by training and a slow traveler by passion. Postcards from Nowhere is a travel podcast where I condense a decade of travel experiences and explore not just the where, but also the why and how to travel. My stories emerged from slow traveling the less explored parts of the world: Bosnia and Herzegovina, Armenia, Uzbekistan, and even China. At the end of each story, I give practical tips and new ideas about how to travel better. Awe is not an everyday emotion. You do not wake up on a Monday in awe of your day ahead. You're not in awe of the traffic of Bombay. Awe is an emotion which does not grow on you, but it suddenly comes into view, out of nowhere. It stuns you into submission, overwhelming the senses. Psychologists are beginning to uncover what awe really means and find that awe typically includes feelings of vastness and accommodation. That is, awe is inspired by something larger than a person's self or experience, and that encounter helps expand his or her understanding of the world. After a few tepid days in Tashkent, I was having doubts about my trip to Uzbekistan. And then one morning, in the historic city of Samarkand, everything changed. As I walked into the Registan square, I felt engulfed by its vastness. But what fascinated me about the architecture were the intricate designs of the mosques and the madrasas. Little did I know that I was about to begin a jaunt into the fascinating worlds of Islamic art. Across Islamic architecture, it is forbidden to have people and animals featured in architecture. An ancient Islamic edict states, painters will be amongst those whom God will punish the most severely on Judgment Day for imitating his creation. These began to be used about 1,000 years ago to conform to religious scriptures. They were widely interpreted as forbidding the depiction of the human form, as might be seen as man's attempt to compete with God's genius. But artists, they are fascinating people who can turn every handicap into a stupendous advantage. The enterprising Islamic craftsmen innovated, and then came about a proliferation of abstract decoration. In effect, they married two of my sincerest loves, art and mathematics. Simply put, they turned geometry into an art form. The designs are proof that even for the untrained mind, there is beauty in mathematics, which emerges as a sophisticated and elegant visual language. But how, you may ask, can these stunning designs be a function of something as drab as mathematics? You can certainly remember your school geometry box. The compass, the divider, the protractor, and the pair of set squares, which always doubled up as scales because we always lost or broke up our scales. What if I told you that you could create these designs yourself with tools from your 6th grade geometry box? Let that sink in for a bit. But what if I told you that you don't even need your whole geometry box for it? The elegance of these designs is that no matter how elaborate they are always based on grids constructed using only a scale and a pair of compasses. These designs are actually infinite set of patterns, which is a homage to God, as only he could create something so spectacular, a reflection of his own image, his irrational infinity. Islamic art has the idea of symmetry, harmony, and structure at its core. When you look at the designs, at first you may think that the artist has taken complete creative freedom and created a random series of flower motifs. But if you actually examine the layout closely, you see proportional spirals which are repeated throughout the design. Nothing is ever random. No pattern is ever composed without obeying the laws of harmony. This is one of the main principles of Islamic art. But where else could you find this principle? Calligraphy. For Muslim calligraphers, the act of writing, particularly the act of writing the Quran or any portion of it, was primarily a religious experience and not an aesthetic one. We appreciate calligraphy for its form and beauty. To them, calligraphy was the geometry of the spirit. As I lost myself in the infinite patterns, I realized the lesson inherent in all the stunning architecture around me. The Islamic architects and I had the exact same tools, a scale and a pair of compasses. But what set us apart was the motivation and dedication they displayed and the devotion they had for their beliefs. In the quieter moments of travel, when the mind is ripe for reflection, the truth hits home. Sometimes the only thing stopping you is you. If you like this podcast, don't forget to check out other interesting podcasts on the IVM network. You can listen to us on the IVM Podcast app or ivmpodcast.com. You can also follow us on our social media. We are IVM Podcasts on Twitter and Instagram. And if you want to reach out to me, I am Utsav Memoria on Twitter and YVTravel42 on Instagram.
I hope you enjoyed that show. We'd like to thank our sponsors this week, Intel, Storytel, and Cambly. This week, in the spirit of Christmas, instead of giving you the long, drawn-out promo that I normally do, all I'm going to do is ask you to give me a Christmas gift. Go to ivmpodcast.com/survey, fill out our survey, and send it out to us. We'd really appreciate it. Thank you so much for listening to the IVM Podcast Network this year in 2019.
Hi guys, this is Ayushi.
And I am Ritasha.
And welcome to Agla Station Adulthood.
It's a fun podcast we've got going on, and we'd love for you to tune in and enjoy with us.
Join us as we stop at various stations and discuss different topics that seem to be bothering us and hopefully
Dating,
you as well.
relationships, beauty, just being an adult, lots of different things.
We don't have a great grip on it, but we've done okay so far.
Catch Agla Station Adulthood every Thursday on the IVM app, the IVM website, or wherever else you get your podcasts.